Tickety Boo news. We got to move on. So, love this headline from CNN's website, right? By Jesse Williams, an actor, activist, and Advancement Project board member, and Judith Brown Dianis, an executive director of the Advancement Project. Starbucks incident proves whites-only spaces still exist. I mean, that is got to be great. The Starbucks threw out a couple of trespassers, and they have been playing the prisoner at a Stalinist show trial ever since. They've been apologizing because they were black. The people they threw out were black. They didn't want to pay. They told the police. They said on TV, oh, they were wrongly arrested. They weren't wrongly arrested. The police asked them to leave because they weren't buying anything. They refused a directive from the police. So the police arrested them, took them out, didn't charge them with anything, let them go. So they keep saying, now Starbucks closed for like 3 hours to train their people not to be biased. They couldn't do it after hours. They couldn't, they closed the store so you couldn't get a cup of coffee. But they train their people. But this proves that whites-only spaces still exist. And while Starbucks was closed, these writers say, people are struggling without their usual coffee fix, but there's another segment of Americans who are suffering too. People of color who must constantly face having their very presence in public spaces challenged by white Americans and the police, which is, by the way, if that's true, the people you should blame are the people of color who are committing crimes, because what the police are doing is they're going off the stats. They are saying, a person who looks like this in this neighborhood doing this, very high likelihood that this guy should move on. I'm going to move him on. It's a shame. It's a shame that innocent people get moved on for that or pulled over or whatever, but it ain't the fault of the police. The police are just trying to protect people of all colors. The people the police protect are of all colors. They are trying to protect them, not knowing. Look, if there were a little light, if they had a machine that made a little light when you were going to commit a crime, the police would never arrest nice black people. They'd never harass nice black people. It's not the blackness they're after. It is the statistics that caused by black criminals that make the majority of black people who are law-abiding, make them look bad. This thing about racism in America, which I just think is a support of the left, or why do they keep it alive? I get to ask this a lot, and I kind of got asked it yesterday at UCLA. After World War II, when the Holocaust was exposed and the racism of German society was exposed, the good people, like America, took a fresh look at some of the racism in our society, put racism in a new light. And it brought racism to the fore, the way black people were being treated, which was unfair. And it caused a lot of shame, which is a very painful emotion. A lot of what people do in life is to avoid shame. And it caused people to reflect on America. Because remember, when I was raised, you said the Pledge of Allegiance, you sang the national anthem, you were taught that America was the greatest country on earth. That's what you were taught in school. And suddenly we found out, that there was a segment of Americans who we're being treated badly by other Americans, and the shame moved people to hysteria, because shame is just a powerful emotion. And that, I think, is one of the things that torched the 60s, made people turn against America and made people say that whatever America is doing, it's the other guys who are right. You're fighting communism, the communists must be right. You're fighting, the Viet Cong must be good people. That was Hanoi Jane going over there waving the Viet Cong flag. They're doing it today. You hate MS-13 filled with divinity, the spark of divinity, the loveliest people on earth. They're doing it to this very day. They haven't gotten over the shame, and they know it inspires this in people. They know it inspires people, and people will do anything to avoid shame. They keep calling you racist, even though this country is one of the least, it may be the least racist country on earth. In my experience, it's the least racist country I've ever been in, and I've been in a lot of countries. It may be, but they want to keep that alive because it's what turns people against the country. It's what turns them to the left. It's what turns them to the hatred of Western society, which is now at the core of leftism. That socialist, communist idea where all the power ends up in the hands of the elites. All the power ends up in the hands of people just like the people who run the New York Times. That is what they do. So if they can keep convincing you that America is racist, you will keep experiencing that shame and keep turning away from the West. America is no longer a racist country. You go to Starbucks, buy a damn cup of coffee, and you won't get thrown out, all right? Starbucks has really made a terrible, terrible decision in letting them do this. The Lefties Dictionary releases every other week. All right, so it's every other week, 2 more weeks to be. To be or not to be. We don't know yet. We'll find out. All right. I'm on my way to New York for Knowles' wedding, which actually I am celebrating. I'm celebrating for Knowles. You know, I'm sad for Alyssa, happy for Knowles. And, but I will broadcast tomorrow from New York. I'll see you then. I'm Andrew Klavan. This is The Andrew Klavan Show. The Andrew Klavan Show is produced by Robert Sterling. Executive producer, Jeremy Boring. Senior producer, Jonathan Hay. Our supervising producer is Mathis Glover. And our technical producer is Austin Stevens. Edited by Emily Jai. Audio is mixed by Mike Cormina. Hair and makeup is by Jesua Alvera. The Andrew Klavan Show is a Daily Wire Forward Publishing production. Copyright Forward Publishing 2018.